slowly growing and becoming more effective worldwide. One thing about this organisation is it's the people that you meet, the amazing people that you meet. I mean, 2 years ago I met this guy, he was a borderline simpleton. Now he's addressing people in different languages. Anyway, now one of the most interesting people I've met since I joined this movement is going to talk to you about, well, I was going to do this, but he bullied me out and he's great. Anyway, Danny is our cab driver. He drove the Venus Project cab driver. Anyway, Danny's going to talk about why he's here today. Okay? Danny Bedford.
With hindsight, science might dictate it's better to wait until you sort of see it good before you trapped, but thanks a lot. Anyway, I appreciate it a great deal. Some of you I would have spoken to before, I guess, at the ZDAY last year, and others might have seen various bits and pieces on the internet, I have no idea. But thanks all for coming, and you all seem to be very much supportive of it, the Zeitgeist Movement, Venus Project, from what I can hear of the clapping, etc., from the previous speakers. Something that Gil was saying I thought was very interesting. He comes from a country which is only separated from us here by water. He comes from Holland. And yet he hasn't got a clue how to cross the road yet, safely. I don't think that's really his fault. I think that's probably something to do with more the way he was conditioned growing up as to how the light should work, yeah? I think that having seen, I am digressing here, from the very beginning, not good probably, but still. It would occur to me that really, if we want to keep the people on the planet safe, then having a sort of standardised road crossing light thing wouldn't seem like a bad idea. I don't see anyone working towards it. And every day I see lots of accidents, especially with people from other parts of the world visiting here in London, looking the wrong way because where they come from, the cars drive on the other side, etc. So it seems to me that from what we view and what we understand from watching the Zeitgeist films, etc., that there does seem to be a problem with the way the planet's organised, in that if someone comes from somewhere that's not very far away, you would expect that they should be able to know how to cross the road without getting run over. Never mind. I hope that those of you that are on Twitter are busy tweeting away about the things we're hearing, and don't forget the hashtag is ZDAY2011. Last night I watched a few of the anti-Venus Project videos on YouTube, and just wanted to clarify a couple of things for you before I go on. One is that I can assure you I have no intention of stealing any of your land. And secondly, I'm not attempting to mind control you in any way. I'm also not trying to sell you anything. I just wanted to explain to you how I came to be standing here today and about my views about the political systems I've seen since birth. In addition, on these videos, there's often the anti-Venus Project Zeitgeist videos that you see on YouTube. The idea of forcing people to do things comes up quite often. I think it's not a question of anyone necessarily that is going to be forced to do anything in the future. As in, I think that there may well come a point where a Venus Project type system will be the only realistic option in the event of a major financial crisis involving the collapse of major world economies due to an overload of bad news, for example, which does seem to affect market prices quite significantly. Thanks for all coming along, and I'm going to give you my ideas and reasons why I'm here, along with my views as to why the Venus Project Zeitgeist Movement philosophies are worth exploring, in my opinion. And I hope you enjoy my little story. I was born in 1969 in Winchmore Hill in North London, and I've been exposed to politics very strongly from a young age, as I have a brother who's very politically active and has been, ever since I can remember, on the left side of the political spectrum. At one point he's been a member of the Communist Party, and he factory strikes and union stuff in the 1970s, etc. And so from a young age, I've been exposed to politics in the household, and I've tried to grasp it in some sense, because obviously political decisions affect our lives. I've tried to analyse the political, social and economic implications of the world as I see it. As I was growing up, electronic technology was just starting to become very widely available. The way that it affected me, I guess, as a sort of someone that was under 10, for example, in the 1970s, was that then we started to see computer games and arcades, Space Invaders, Asteroids, etc. was the way that I saw technology. That was what appealed to me, instead of these boring board games that maybe I've been brought up on from, say, age 3 or 4. As I became 5, 6, 7, computer games started to come out, and it seemed to be more fun, more interesting, it seemed to do more, and it seemed to be the way the world was going. That's the way I saw the technology as a young child, but also businesses saw it differently, and they started to use the technology in the way they produced, manufactured and sold goods and services. As a young child, I remember seeing a TV advert for Fiat cars, ironically enough, who were now using robots to build cars. And I asked my mum what jobs people would do in the future if machines would be doing the jobs that people used to do. And she didn't seem to really know. It sort of now seems to be that it turns out that many of those people would be doing jobs that have been invented since, or be unemployed. Politics left and right, the way I've seen it. The Second World War was something I started to learn about at a very young age, as both my parents had been young children living in London when it started. And in the days when I first started to watch television, with only 3 TV channels, old war films were commonplace. It was then that I started to learn about the Nazis and their style of government, which appeared to me to be of little benefit to the world as a whole. So if this extreme right position was so awful, then surely extreme left must have been better. So I asked questions, and I found out that this was not really the case, as both the extreme left and right, as perceived, both seem to have issues with treating people fairly in terms of economic and so therefore social equality. It then occurred to me that the political system, the way it is now around the world, could be purely about governments attempting to control labor classes of their population. The ways they do this, race, religion, money, any difference between people will be used to reinforce the control, in my opinion. The idea that left-right politics is used for the benefit of the population of this planet, or indeed the planet itself, I would consider laughable. I would assume that most people would agree, as the world's problems are getting bigger every day. So basically, every so often we have an election. How I see it is that, for all intents and purposes, we're presented with 2 sides to choose from, the left or the right. And people choose one and think that their choice is the right one. For now, we would assume that we're discussing parts of the world where elections take place. To that extent, history has shown us that people are willing to fight and even die for their political ideology, which is usually a brand of freedom, depending on the lottery of where you were born, or your perceived country. The two are often used together as a sort of psychological pincer movement. Career politicians sometimes change side, and I imagine that this helps to reinforce in most people's minds that there is a discernible difference between the 2 sides. The reality, as I see it, is far different, and I propose that both left and right are merely smokescreens to distract from the true agenda, which is the furtherance and advancement of population control. In the case of countries with elections, this process is almost self-fulfilling, in that this democracy is then used against the population in a sort of, well, you chose it, it's called freedom and choice, and you should be grateful. In fact, I read on Twitter recently, politics doesn't work as left versus right, it works as top versus bottom. The reality is that whether you have like or choose left or right, ultimately all that will happen is that as time progresses, there will be more control from the government, regardless of their political ideology. Then, when the next election takes place, people choose the government and it all starts all over again. And of course the government is primarily concerned with how the money of the country is distributed. What is money? Well, it used to be gold, but of course gold. I am actually stuffed. What is money? Well, it used to be gold, but of course as the money system needs to grow, as all money is now created from debt, as time progressed it was changed into paper, and now it's not even paper, just a figure on a computer screen. Problems that can arise from the monetary system really are self-interest from everyone, everywhere, as a result of the financial slavery that ensues, as a result of the monetary system in place across the planet. Plus the fact that now money is not backed up by any precious metal, it is simply printed paper, stroke figure on a screen, coupled with the fact that electronic money itself, being moved around the world, has become one of the planet's largest industries. The fact that the bank bailouts of the last few years are just a sticking plaster on one of the branches of the tree of capitalism, when the way I see it, the whole tree itself is diseased. This was the view I had at primary school and secondary school, and it's the view I still have. Subjects that I was very much interested in at school were history, geography, politics, sociology, maths, and all of the sciences. And when I left school, I didn't go to college or to university to study academic subjects. I studied vocational subjects, but I've always had a great interest in philosophy and have read many philosophy books over the years, various types. I've also been very politically active since I was about 16 or so, I guess, going to most of the major demos, protests around the country, to do with anti-capitalism, and I was also at the poll tax demo 1990 or whenever it was. So I've always been interested in politics. So I think that's the point I'm trying to make here. And I had various jobs, most of which actually I was forced to leave because of technology, if you like. So I was myself a victim, I suppose, of the monetary system and the way it decided to change the way things were going to be made. My very first job from leaving school was as an antique furniture restorer. My parents were antique dealers. I had a sort of interest in the subject, if you like. And I worked as an antique furniture restorer for a couple of years since leaving school. But then the business went down the toilet, as it were, because people were moving away from buying traditional furniture, if you like, for their households, and were moving more towards the sort of flat pack culture and the IKEA type and the habitat type and whatever. They weren't having their furniture restored in the same numbers, so there wasn't so much of a demand for our services, and so the business went bankrupt, basically. Having had a few jobs, I then decided to do the London knowledge to become a taxi driver in London. And this is how I later came to become involved with the Venus Project and the Zeitgeist Movement. Because one day 2 years ago, after I'd already seen the Zeitgeist Event film online, I got a phone call from an advertising company asking me if I wanted to have the Venus Project advert on my taxi. And I said yes. I got to meet Jack and Montana a few times when they were in London, and I've driven them around to various meetings, etc. And I've also met some great people via the Zeitgeist Movement over the last 2 years. I drove the Venus Project taxi for a year, and for that time, obviously I had a lot of passengers in the course of the year. Some of them would want to talk about the Venus Project, ask me what it was and stuff, and others seemed to pay little attention to the advert. But those that I did chat to about it. Just wanted to have a quick chat with you about that and various ways that I used to try and explain to people what their responses were in general. Of course you can't be specific without quoting, because everyone is different. I believe that to be the case. But in general, for the purposes of this, somebody maybe used to get in the cab, they'd see the Venus Project on the outside of the cab, and they'd see the Venus Project writing on the seats that would be in front of them inside the taxi, and they may ask me, just a general question, what is the Venus Project? I would vary the way I answer that depending on what perceptions I've got of them, based on how they spoke, how they looked, etc., which in itself I suppose is wrong, but if we're going to talk to people, we've got to have a fair idea of where they're going to come from, where they're going, what they're going to be able to understand. So I suppose we all use labelling to an extent, even if it's subconsciously at the moment. So, standard question, what is the Venus Project? I thought quite a good way to get people interested in it would be to come up with a fairly standard answer. And I decided upon this one. And I used to say to people, there are a bunch of people who think that we're being ripped off by governments and big businesses. To this day, I haven't found an individual who disagrees with that statement. Indeed, very many reply very strongly in agreement. In addition, the way I tried to sum up how the Venus Project would work in a practical sense would be to say that it would be achieved when everybody on the planet wakes up in the morning and has the purpose for the day of making the planet a better place for all on it, rather than how much money they're going to make. For years, the various establishments in various countries were pretty much in charge of distributing information, mainly through books and films. Now, and since the internet went public in '92, and with the advent of social media like Twitter and Facebook, information is virtually free. And much, I believe, is only a matter of time before many of the humans on this planet will be joining it. How we get from here to there, I'm not sure yet. But when you're living in a country that is supposedly the first world, like the UK, and your country spends more on debt than it does on education, then there's obviously something very wrong with the system. And a country where the police are unhappy with having to face cuts, I'm sorry, but for all of Mrs. Thatcher's favours, even she realised that we need to keep the police on side. And so I shall be at the demo in London on March the 26th, along with many others dissatisfied with the current political system. I'm actually going to be a senior student. Don't tell the anarchists because they want to be So basically, the way I see it, we have a lot going on at the moment in this world, financially and socially. And it's obvious that something has to give at some point. There's going to have to be some change. Society has always changed. 100 years ago, opium was legal here, now it's not. Laws change, times change. When I was a child, you could ride your bicycle on the pavement. Now if you ride your bicycle on the pavement, you get a ticket. Things change, it happens. It will continue to happen. Thanks very much.